Howdy, folks. This is Big Sam. A lot of y'all might remember a little bit back to this or last summer. It's the new year. I'm already confused. I'm going to be writing 2021 for probably the next 6 months at least, so you'll have to bear with me. Last year, 2021, around the summertime, we took a little bit of a look at this, the Mosin Nagant pitchfork bayonet. This atrocity came from Russia, and we're still trying to learn more about it and try to really get deep down into the heart of what this is and really why it exists. But as it stands now, it's kind of a novelty, but maybe a functional one. The only problem was it wasn't quite functional, because if you remember, this came unsized. This had never been put on a rifle before, and so you could fit it on the muzzle, but it wouldn't go all the way because this had to be properly sized. And so I had to have that done, and so we haven't had this on a gun yet. Well, fast forward to now. I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, there's a nasty thought. Kind of like the Grinch. Remember when the Grinch had a really nasty thought that he was going to steal Christmas? I had a really nasty thought. I wasn't going to steal Christmas. I was going to do something much worse. I was actually thinking about, in my trash sat the remnants of the cut barrel of this. Now this, you might remember, was our Obrez barrel that we got from that Mosin Nagant parts kit that was in a fire. And we salvaged this from the barrel. We cut the rest off. It was junk. The front of it drooped. It got so hot and it got turned to Play-Doh. If you're interested in that, you can go find that video. We did manage to steal the sight from this because it was a pretty rare version of the sight. But we have this, and the rest of the barrel, this big long chunk, is sticking out in a trash can. And I woke up this morning and I had a dirty thought, and I said, you know what? And it was very dirty because this was in a fire. It's filthy. I have to wash my hands every time I think about this thing. You know what? We could take that barrel and we can use it to size this bayonet. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I actually got the inspiration because I watched a long time ago. IV88 did a video a long time ago where he actually had a Mosin barrel, and he would use it to size these bayonets because it's relatively common to get a Mosin Nagant bayonet that hasn't been sized, and so it won't fit on the rifle. It's too tight. So he would get a barrel, and what he did was he would take off the entire front sight post and the front sight base altogether. So you're left with a steel rod, and he would just punch it through. And so I thought about that, and I'm thinking about that barrel sticking out of the trash can, and I'm saying to myself, you know what? I wonder if we could salvage that and try to resize this so we could actually fit our pitchfork bayonet on a rifle. And as it turns out, I was right, unfortunately for y'all. So here's sort of how everything went down. I got that barrel, and first of all, we cut it off a little bit at the back, and then we had to grind off the entire sight base, because remember, the idea is you basically want a steel rod to push through here. And the barrel is a perfect way to size this because the dimensions are going to be just perfect to run through here, because a barrel is what you're actually putting this on. And a barrel's actually tapered. So as you get from the muzzle further back towards the chamber, it's going to get slightly wider. So, as it turns out, this parts kit from a fire was the gift that keeps on giving, because from that barrel, we were able to salvage the rear sight, this, and this. This guy is our little tool we made from that barrel. So this is the muzzle, and I'm sure you recognize this as the muzzle. Now, if you look through this, you may still be able to see a little bit remnants of rifling. I don't know. It's very dirty. But that's not really relevant, though. It just happens to be rifle. Really, we're just using this as a steel rod to punch through here. So the idea is you take this is the muzzle end, set it through there, and see that? And then all you do is take this, and then you need to drive it through here. Now this gets very, very, very tight because you're having to resize out all this inner diameter. It's not so much this area, it's really this area that has to, inside here, that has to get slightly expanded out. So how do we do that? Well, the way we did that was with a hydraulic press. Now this wasn't anything fancy, although hydraulic press kind of sounds fancy. You can get one of these at your local Harbor Freight. Basically, we just punched it through here. And I got a video of how exactly we did that, so let's jump to that now. Hey! All right, so as you can see, that was pretty intense, pretty exciting. And if we take a closer look here, you can actually see right here, see how that looks a little recessed? Well, that's because the sight base used to be right here. That had to be ground completely off. I mean, otherwise it's not going to fit through here. That would never have gone through a hydraulic press with a sight base. Would never have fit through there. And I'm happy to report that the sizing seems to be about right. This actually will now slide on to the muzzle. Now, I ran into another problem with this particular bayonet. So when I fully depress this button, we're going to look in this area right here. And what we're going to see is that this surface right up here doesn't quite get low enough when it's pushed all the way down, like right here. See that? So what happens is it actually can't get pushed in far enough for the entire sight base of like a 9130 rifle to get through here. It gets caught on that. And it doesn't really have anything to do with this. It's actually this particular bayonet. We could actually file on that, do a little bit more fitting. What's ironic about this is I only have one gun I've managed to find that this fits on well. One gun. And unfortunately for me, and more unfortunately for you, we had a survey a while back that some of you may remember, where I asked which rifle do you guys want to see this pitchfork bayonet on? And wouldn't you know it, by overwhelming majority, the one y'all voted you want to see this on is the only rifle that this actually fits on. Can you believe that? The things I do for you guys. Okay. So some of you might have not seen that video and you're wondering, what exactly is that gun? Well, here on the channel, we refer to that wretched abomination as none other than the Mosinator. And we have a couple of videos on that. I recommend you want to go and watch our Mosin Nagant pumpkin carving video, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about here. So we'll have to do another video, and we'll kind of run through the paces with this bayonet. Maybe we can figure out what some things we want to do with that gun with this bayonet on it. I don't know, maybe we can feed some cattle with it or something. Maybe chase vampires or werewolves or something. I'm not really sure. If you got ideas of things you want to see done with this bayonet on the Mosinator, go ahead and post in the comments, because I want to hear about it. Now, some of y'all want to see that, so I'll give you a little sneak peek here to show you that indeed this does work. Some of y'all recognize this. Yes, the Mosinator indeed does not have a front sight. Yeah, this is not good. And I can already see the comment section going to blow up of telling me how ugly this is and this is the stupidest thing in the world. It is. I kind of like it. And what's great, and we'll have to test this in our next video, notice how there's no front sight base. Well, I was looking down the rear sights, and I figure we'll have to try this, and I'm going to wear safety protection because this is a little bit scary to shoot with the bayonet on here. For the first time, is I want to make sure that the bullet, when it comes out, doesn't hit these. That would be really horrible. Theoretically, looking down it, because this is curved in, see how it curves in here? I think you can use this poke as the front sight. So we'll have to see how well that works. Maybe we'll do groupings and compare what the groupings are using that as the front sight with no front sight at all. Something fun. So there's one fun thing we can do with this rifle. All right, so a little bit of a sneak peek for when we actually have a whole video dedicated to this horrible thing. But this hopefully gives y'all a better idea of a way you can resize these if you happen to have a scrap or parts of a scrap Mosin barrel laying around. Now, some of y'all may have or known someone that has sporterized Mosins. Not really something I like to do, but a lot of people will cut down the barrels on, like, say, a 9130 rifle. And if you do that, what's going to happen is you'll be left with that front piece, which would be this. So you could actually use that front piece, just like I did here, as a sizing tool. If you have questions on dimensions, I can try to give you dimensions on this. It's going to vary probably a little bit. There's actually a little bit of variance in Mosin barrels. But that's kind of an interesting story for another day. A lot of it had to do with wartime production. So, it may not necessarily be perfect, but it'll definitely get you a lot closer than having it not sized at all, which just, in my case, it didn't fit on the rifle at all. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed kind of learning a little bit more about bayonet resizing. I wasn't really intending on doing this today, but sometimes you wake up in the morning and your mind goes very scary places, but hopefully not this scary. So let me know if y'all have any prayer requests. And again, let me know what you'd like us to do with this here bayonet and the Mosinator. And I'll see you next time.